Today, we are talking about the connection between what we eat and how we feel. Because sometimes the exhaustion, brain fog, mood swings, anxiety, lack of focus, and even burnout we're experiencing may not only be emotional or environmental. Sometimes our bodies are literally missing the nutrients they need to function optimally. Our guest today, Mrs. Robin Muhammad. She's helping us understand the missing link between nutrition and emotional wellness and giving us practical tools that we can start implementing immediately.
Thank
Robin.
you so much for inviting me into this space. I really appreciate the opportunity to share on this topic because it is a big one and it is important.
I've been able to personally partake in your community, and it has been amazing and invaluable. So I'm really glad to be able to, from a personal perspective, to share the skills and the expertise that you bring to our community. Thank
Thank
you, Robin. I'm
you.
just going to start with a statistic or a research that, according to the Mental Health Foundation, poor nutrition can contribute to fatigue,
Yep.
lower concentration, and increase feelings of anxiety and depression. And we've shared, and you've already spent over 17 years helping women reconnect food and wellness. Would you mind walking us through what got you into this line of work, and I guess what even first opened your eyes to the connection between nutrition and emotional health?
So how I got into this work honestly was once upon a time I ate out of a can. So this was 20 plus years ago and I didn't know the power of nutrition that food will either kill you or keep you alive. That the diseases we face or the ailments are due in part to what you put in your mouth or what you don't put in your mouth, and I did not know the connection. When I found out through my own journey, it just opened my eyes and I said, I have to share this. This is part of my now mission because so many of us don't know. We eat a lot of times because we're hungry or it's yummy to our tummy and we're not thinking about the necessity or the power that it has. And for women over 40, this is more critical than ever. We had more wiggle room in our 20s and our 30s, but now, and I'm in my 50s, we have to eat with intention. And it does matter what you eat. It what you think, feel, and believe has a role in what you put in your mouth. It does.
You couldn't have said that better, because I think every woman or man over
Mhm.
40 can attest to how our bodies are just different now. And the things that we used to can do before, we aren't able to do the same way.
And our mental is different.
Yes,
We're going to talk
absolutely.
about why that is even so, but
Yeah. So I want to ask you this. Many people tend to separate physical health from the mental health, but
mm,
as you stated, they're deeply connected. So, how
um,
much of what we experience is stress, fatigue, or even anxiety could actually be linked to our diet? And what are
okay.
people overlooking most of the time?
So if you are not eating what your body is needing, then it can drain your energy. So it'll make you feel tired, make you feel grumpy or
Mhm.
moody or if
Mhm.
you're not getting it, because what you're eating feeds your brain, and then your brain is what you are hoping to use out in the world. So if it doesn't have the nutrients, your brain is full of, it needs food. If you're not giving it, then it can show up as the anxiety, because certain foods now for us can bring about anxiety. Things you could eat or drink before now may take your body into another space. I know your face.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like, really? What
right.
is that? I need to
What is
stop.
that? Okay. Well, and I'll tell. So I will make sure that we cover that. But again, with stress, let me say this, as specifically women over 40, we have our mother of hormone, which is our estrogen. And the estrogen is a regulator in our mood, our blood sugar, our anxiety, our energy, all of those things. Now,
Mhm.
as the estrogen is declining, which is inevitable for us at this stage, we have to be even more intentional about eating certain foods that are estrogen modulators, meaning that if your estrogen is high, it helps to bring it stable. If it's low, it helps to bring it up.
Okay.
Because remember, the estrogen is coming and going. There's foods that support it. And when we don't have the estrogen, that also will lead to the brain fog, the mental fatigue. So
Mhm.
we have to eat the foods that support the estrogen that will support to regulate our bodies. My intention with this is to give you all simple tips and tools because it's a big subject. So I want to just give you a few things that you can do today to support that and a few key foods that we all should be consuming daily for who we are in this stage.
Wow, that was eye-opening because, of course, we eat what we've been taught to
Mm,
eat or what we think is good, but
yes,
never have we been told that there are certain foods that contribute to some of the very things that we're trying to avoid. So
very,
I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that.
yes,
Now, and as you talked about fatigue, a lot of times people think they're just tired because of work or life, right?
yeah.
So, what are some of the signs that our brains, right, are being properly nourished?
Okay. So, one of the things that, and there are many things that tell us that we're not being properly nourished. If you're ever shaky, if your body feels shaky,
Mhm.
if you are just incredibly tired, even you eat and then you're really tired after that, some of the signals that you're not being properly nourished is maybe your blood sugar is high. Physically, your hair may be changing, it may be thinning more, it may be falling out.
Mhm.
I mean, there is a list, I mean, a long list of things that let us know, even with the thinking, trying to concentrate, that it's at the tip of my tongue. What is that
Mhm.
called?
Mhm.
Lets you know that there are some things that are
Mhm.
off in your body. And when we get into it, I want to tell you the specific nutrients and the foods that include them that you want to make sure that you are locked in on.
Well, I'm open. Let's get into it now. I know it may be off of the questions, but if
No
you're
worries.
going, yeah,
No
let's
worries.
flow with it. And because you definitely made me think about some of the things I've been feeling myself with dryness
Mhm,
in my own skin, in my
mhm.
scalp, my body, right? And a lot of times we've self-diagnosed ourselves as being ADHD. I know a lot of my friends, we jokingly say it, but it's like you said, hard to focus. That's a real thing for us.
It is real.
Ambition women, right? Wearing all the hats, we're doing all the things, and our minds are constantly going. So, yeah, I would love to just kind of hear about what do you think some of those foods and hidden signs that we could be more prevalent to.
Let's talk
All right.
about some key important nutrients. So I want to talk in terms of nutrients and then I'll bring in the foods. Let's start with protein. Protein, and I will give you an example of what protein foods are, but protein is the nutrient, the macronutrient that our bodies need in order to regulate our blood sugar, our muscle mass, our metabolism. When we do not have the adequate amount of protein balanced in our body, that can contribute to foggy thinking. It can contribute to weight gain. It can contribute most significantly to our blood sugar being out of whack.
Mhm.
With protein, so that would be chicken, fish, turkey, eggs, tofu, tempeh, Greek yogurt, protein powder. That's an example.
Mhm.
Cottage cheese. I didn't list everything, but those are the protein.
Okay.
So you want to, as a woman over 40,
Mhm.
you want to consume at minimum 100 grams of protein a day. And I say at minimum because I don't know everybody individually. So we'll start there. Oftentimes we need more,
Mhm.
especially at this age. So
Mhm.
when we are not getting the amount of protein that we need, but on the flip side, we're getting more carbohydrates, more breads, more pastas, more rice, more sugar,
Mhm.
more even fruit, and we don't have that balance, it can contribute to the crash and
Mhm.
it can contribute to confusion,
Mhm.
meaning not being able to focus.
Mhm.
If you don't have what the body needs,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to do what you need to do. And we're running on fuel or trying to run our body on fuel we don't have.
Mhm.
So that protein is that fuel. When I mentioned the amount of protein and I just threw out the number, that sounds like a lot.
Mhm.
And I created a prompt, and I believe you're going to make that available for everyone, that it's a freebie. You can pop it into chat or Claude, plug in change the prompt, put your information in, and it'll give you a meal guide that will help you to get the amount of protein that you need in your body, as well as balance it with the starches or the carbohydrates. So you have your protein
Mhm.
and it serves as a buffer for carbohydrates, your rice, your pasta, your cookies, your chips. It serves as a buffer. So you're eating your carbohydrate, you have that protein, the protein grabs it, slows it down so that it
Mhm.
can help balance out your body.
Mhm.
Without that, if you are just eating, having a snack and you're eating popcorn, carbohydrate by itself without protein, it's going to throw off your blood sugar. If you're eating
Mhm.
a bowl of oatmeal, not that it isn't healthy, but if you're eating that without protein, it's going to throw off your blood sugar. Anytime we are eating a carbohydrate without marrying it with the protein, it's going to throw off our blood sugar, which then can lead to a domino effect. And we're talking about energy, mental clarity. That is what is significant in terms of a food. So the protein. That is also one of the biggest mistakes that I notice overall that people make when it comes to their nutrition
Mhm.
is not getting enough to balance their carbohydrates and give their body what it needs to function.
Mm. Yeah,
Yes.
that's significant because personally, I'm a pescatarian, so
And
I don't get a lot of the meats that typically people get. And
yeah.
also, and I do a lot of the carbs, right? And so you really made me start to think about there's moments, yeah, I just feel really tired. And it's probably exactly what you're saying. I'm not balancing the protein.
And I want people to understand that carbs are not the enemy, but
Okay.
what not the enemy. In fact, we need
Yeah, we
carbohydrates
do.
we need carbohydrates for energy. So
Yes.
check this out. We need carbohydrates for energy. When we have reached our threshold, when our body has enough
Mhm.
energy, so a carbohydrate is going to turn the excess into sugar and store as fat in our body. So
Mm.
anything in excess of what we need then starts to
Mhm.
work against us.
Mm.
We need it, and then what's left is no longer our friend. When it comes to carbohydrates, the question is, okay, well, how much of that?
Yeah.
So if you think of either one cup, one piece, or one serving. So if you have your fish, you have 5 to 6 ounces, that is going to give you 30 grams of protein with that one meal, 30
Mm.
to 35. So if you're doing 3 meals and you're getting 35 grams of protein per, then you'll get there.
Okay.
So you have your fish, I'm using you as an example,
Mhm.
and then you have a half of a cup or a cup of rice.
Mhm.
Then you have your carb balance, or you want a piece of bread, then you have one piece that will give you the balance. But
Mhm.
what we tend to have the tendency to have is we'll have our fish, some potatoes, a little bit of corn, and some corn and a little muffin on the side, and then some sweet tea. Now I'm tired. We have the itis. We've eaten,
Yeah.
tired, and then we can't think and focus.
Yeah.
So That's where protein comes in.
Okay.
You also want to have appropriate fat. I'll just throw out three. Avocado is an appropriate fat. Extra virgin olive oil is an appropriate fat. And also fish,
Mhm.
fatty fish. So your salmon, your mackerel are appropriate fat because the brain needs the fat in order to function. So when you're
Mm.
eating, you have a little olive oil on your plate, it's giving you the fat, which is feeding the brain. Your vegetables do so many things, but your leafy greens, your chard, your arugula, spinach, and then with your cruciferous vegetables, your cauliflower, your broccoli, every time you eat, you want to bring life into your food by adding a vegetable source because that is the healer for your body. Some of the leafy greens also serve as estrogen support. So we need the fat, we need the protein, we need the vegetables, and we need them seriously. Yes, every meal with the most that you can bring them in, it is going to support all of what you want it to support. Water. That's a simple one that we don't get enough of, but
Mhm.
it's flushing out, it's giving your brain what it needs. And if we're dehydrated, we definitely will be tired. We definitely will not be able to think. So dehydration is a big one, but just giving the protein and use the prompt, y'all. It's so useful. The fat and the vegetables.
Okay.
Those are the three categories of foods that bringing into your diet every day is important. I want to add this in flaxseed. So, flaxseed, ground flaxseed, is a estrogen support, it's a modulator. It also is fiber. It helps the bowels, the blood sugar. It's a superfood for us over 40. You can
Mhm.
put it in your oatmeal, your smoothies, your salads, a tablespoon or two daily. I ground and I said keep it in the refrigerator. Also is a superfood for your body, for your brain.
Those are good tips. We're going to recap those in a
Yeah.
second. Let me ask you this, Robin. A lot of people know what to eat. You just kind of gave us what to eat,
Mhm.
but consistency is the hard part,
It
right?
is hard.
What role does mindset and emotional wellness play in building healthier habits?
And also, who is in your house with you?
Mm.
Who is in your house with you? So let me back up and give a tip about just starting out the day.
Mhm.
Read, watch, and listen to. So when you start your day, read, watch, and listen to only those things that are in alignment with the person that you want to be. So something spiritual, motivational. I think Julian had the cards.
Mhm.
When you start your day on that, your brain starts to click in addition to gratitude. Because
Mhm.
sometimes we wake up on the wrong side of the bed or we just feeling a kind of a way.
Mhm.
I recommend before we eat or drink or do any of that, that we give thanks for things that are going right before we get into what's not going right.
Right.
Start our day that way, then drink you some water, and then make sure that you're eating food that has protein.
Yeah, you pretty much you're just asking what does that role, mindset have?
Consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about consistency
Yeah.
because those that are listening, you're gonna get off of this and you're gonna be pumped up and you're gonna have your protein and all that. And then it's very easy to get back into the routine. And
Yes.
that's when I mentioned that the routine that I want you all to start with is the read, watch, and listen to the things that are in alignment with who you are, because
Mhm.
that reminds you of who you want to be.
Mhm.
And then if you are only consistent with one meal, start there, meaning that, okay, I this is a lot to change. I'm gonna change one thing, right? I
Mhm.
don't know if I can have vegetables at every meal because I don't have vegetables with any meal.
Mhm.
So let me do one vegetable
Mhm.
with a meal. Just let me start with one of a half of a cup if I'm not doing any.
Mhm.
So to help us, just start small. Master one thing and honor yourself for doing that one thing. We have the tendency to overdo a thing,
Mhm.
I'm gonna get this weight off. I'm gonna work out every day forever. And we don't work out ever. We're not doing 2 days. And now we're all of a sudden thinking we're gonna do 5 days. So the consistency, say start with one thing and just honor what you accomplished. Like celebrate that you had a vegetable, celebrate that during one meal you put that protein in and you reduced your carbohydrates. Celebrate and do it once and just master that one, and then say, okay, this is easy now.
Yeah,
I'm going to move into two, because we
that's
try
good.
to do too much and
We
then we get
do.
discouraged and we're like,
Exactly.
I'm not
Yep,
going to do any of it,
yep,
like
all
overwhelmed.
the things, and so adding, and that was my next question, what is that one thing for that person who feels overwhelmed, exhausted, disconnected from their body? Where should they start? And so you've kinda answered that. Just start with that one thing.
One thing. And we have
That's
different
good.
personalities, right? Some
Yeah.
people are like, they can go all in and that's
Mhm.
their personality.
Yeah,
And then, but a lot of us, we need baby steps because we're habitual. We're
yeah,
used to doing what we've been doing for so long. And now
yeah.
you're asking me to do what? Change.
Right.
So
Exactly, and we forgot all the
yeah, it's like, but keep in mind that the change is all there is. There's inevitable. Our bodies
yeah,
are changing, whether we like it or not. And we have to then make that shift with the body that is shifting. We have
mhm,
to do that, or we'll get left behind. It's doing what it's doing. And if we don't recalibrate and do something different, then, and you've seen it, people that are older, 80s, 70s, unable to walk or
yeah,
move or do or be, because we're resistant to change, but change is happening. And the more that we resist, it doesn't stop the change. It doesn't
that's
stop
right.
the change. So we want to go with it and recreate who we be in
That's
this
good.
stage.
Let's talk a little bit about the supplemental part. We
Okay.
hear that word a lot. Talk to us about what you recommend for supplementation and why. Why do we even need to supplement to begin with? And what are those main core supplements that you would recommend for our audience?
So let's talk about mental health. And we'll talk about supplements because we have the tendency, there's so many out there. And should I take this? Should I take that? It's a
Yes.
lot. It's
Overwhelming.
confusing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you all three that are must haves for your mental wellness and for your overall wellness, especially if you're a woman over 40. Okay. Just these three. Now, you might ask when I mention these three, what about my this supplement? And what about that? So these are the three that are foundational. The other ones are situational. And I'll explain the difference. So let me get into the foundational ones and why. So we're going to talk about vitamin D3 and K2. I'll explain what the K2 does. But in terms of your mental health, the vitamin D helps with your mood, it helps with your blood sugar. It helps with your gut. Now, your gut, what's going on in your gut, so your stomach, that is directly connected to your mental health. So, what's in your stomach, if your gut is overly populated with bacteria and not the bad bacteria, it's going to signal your brain in an adverse way. So, going back to the foods, you want to make sure that you're giving your body in your gut as many of the high quality whole foods that I mentioned so that it can signal to your brain what you want it to signal, which is to give you health, energy, clarity, and not having you mad at everybody.
Right.
So the vitamin D is a support with the mental health, mood. It helps our hair, it helps our immune system, it helps so many things.
Wow.
Our body, our cells have vitamin D receptors. So, meaning that in order for our cells to work properly, they call out for vitamin D. Vitamin D is in the sun. We're not out in the sun that much. So, supplementation is very, very critical. So, that is the first foundational supplement. And I'll explain why K2 with it is important. But vitamin D, number one. Number two would be magnesium. Now, there's so many different forms of magnesium that's very, very confusing. Which one, why, how, What I want to impress upon you is to stay away from magnesium oxide. That's the one that is in the stores a lot. Everything that I'm saying, do your research. Magnesium oxide doesn't absorb in your body very well at all. So, let me tell you what magnesium does. And I'm specifically talking right now about magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate specifically helps with reducing our or supporting our stress, our anxiety, muscle tension and pain, and sleep. So for us, you need sleep in order to restore your body, and magnesium helps you to sleep and have a restful night so you
Mhm.
can wake up ready to do all of the things. When our body is depleted of magnesium, then it doesn't function as well. Magnesium is also critical in order to activate vitamin D. There's another form of magnesium. Magnesium glycinate is a number one magnesium form that is suggested for us in this stage. But I want you all to know that there is another form, threonate, that is specifically helpful for the brain and the mood. That form of magnesium is better taken during the day, and it also helps with energy. Glycinate is magnesium that is best taken at night. Now, I actually don't take the threonate, I take glycinate, but because we're having a conversation about mental health,
Yes.
I would be doing you all a disservice if I did not mention the other form of magnesium, because I know that that is also directly supporting the mental health, the mood, and energy. And then lastly would be your omegas. So for you being a pescatarian,
Mhm.
you're likely getting a good amount of omegas.
Mhm.
Supplementation wise, people think of fish oil. I personally take a plant based omega, but omegas help the brain, it helps the joints, it helps your heart. And those are the three foundational ones. So vitamin D3, K2, magnesium, glycinate, and omegas
Oh, man.
are the three. Now, we won't have time for me to go into what to look for and which ones are best and all of those things. There's so many supplements, and the supplements are not a regulated industry. So you could literally put anything on the shelf, and some are better
Oh,
than others.
mhm.
So we'll just kind of table that conversation for now. But
We'll do
those,
a part 2.
yeah, we'll do a part two about that. But, anyways, those are the three
Oh,
that are so useful for nutritionally the whole body, and then specifically our mental well being.
awesome. Let's throw those up and recap for our audience. If we're going to put that back up, because I know she threw quite a few things out. So here's just a quick recap of the takeaways that Robin just shared with us. So, Rob, if you want to run through them again quickly,
Yeah, I'm
that would
so
be.
impressed by y'all. So the minimum of the protein intake, yes, 100 grams, and I believe that you'll have access to the prompt that you can put into your chat or Claude to
Yeah.
help you out. You want to take your foundational omegas, your vitamin D3 plus K2, and your magnesium, and train your brain. Read, watch, and listen to only the things that are in alignment with who you truly want to be, because that helps the brain just start off, and then always, always begin your day with gratitude, which seems so simple and something people can overlook.
Yeah.
But when you, going back to the gratitude, it trains our brain, and it really changes us biologically, and it
Mhm.
starts us to look for more of the good. And the
Mhm.
more that you look for the good, the more you will see the good, and the
That's
more
right.
it will support
Attracts to you.
your
That's right.
intentional joy, well being, and your mental health. And this is the thing with mental health. Some days we just are going to truly not be in the mood. You
Yeah.
could have eaten all the
Every day.
protein, all
That's
the things,
that's right.
and now it's just you want everybody to leave you alone and
That's
nobody's even
right.
bothering you.
That's right. Especially
Yeah.
us women around
Yes.
certain
It's just
times of the
like,
month. So
yep. It's
it's
like,
just not the best.
just leave me alone. And I've learned to rest,
Mhm.
really, really rest without guilt,
Yeah.
without it's because we need it. And I often hear women say, "Well, I'm too busy to rest." And my philosophy is,
Mhm.
I'm so busy, I have to rest.
That part, yes. We
Yeah,
have
because you
to rest.
have to rest.
That's so
Absolutely.
powerful. Thank you for really breaking that down. I remember when I first met you and you shared that, you had a new supplemental line and I said, "Oh, well, well, is it like you selling for somebody else or you white
Yeah.
label?" You were like, you said it so
No.
nice and humbly. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, she might be the real deal. She
Yeah.
created something here," which I think is amazing and
I
powerful.
don't talk about it. It is a big deal because people do say, yes, necessary nutrition supplements was created by myself and a partner in 2009. So a
Mhm.
long time ago, because I was a consumer and I was going to the store and I'm like, what's in this product and why
Mhm.
is it in the product? And there's certain things we take in products, believe it or not, that we think are healthy and it's making us worse because we're
Wow.
taking a supplement that has inflammatory oils
Mm,
and we don't know it because with when you're making a supplement and you putting fillers and certain oils, it just makes it cheaper to
mhm.
produce. And people are none the wiser and they
Right.
will
We don't
and
know
so
the
when I
difference.
saw that, I said, I can do better. I'm going to do better because I need something to take. That's how
Thank
that
you. Well, I want to bring my co-hosts back up because I'm sure they are buzzing with some questions to ask. So let's be quiet and give them the floor, as well as our audience who may have some questions. So the floor is yours, ladies.
Yeah.
That was so good,
Thank
Robin.
you, Julia.
Thank you for that. Listen, I was taking all kinds of notes as you were talking. About to get into those supplements you got. And I love what you said about celebrating your wins. That's actually one of the daily wellness cards. It's like, oh, she's speaking
Yes.
my language because we get so caught up in these taking these big steps and then
Mhm.
we give up if we don't see progress immediately.
Yeah.
And I just recognize that celebrating those small wins is what can actually give you the momentum to keep
Yes.
going. I do want to bring up a couple questions from some of our audience members. One of our audience members asked, and I think this is when we were talking about the protein intake or lack thereof. She asked, is this what leads to DVT? Oh, here we go. Is this what leads to DVT? I looked it up because I'm like, I have no idea what DVT is. Deep vein thrombosis.
Thrombosis. Yeah, not necessarily. So I always get questions, and I love a question that's not necessarily in my wheelhouse. But with deep vein thrombosis, there's a lot of reasons that could cause that. But a clot running through the body could be from a blockage in your veins or in your arteries from food related, but it's not necessarily because it's like a whole body nutrition piece to it, not just protein itself. So I want to make sure I'm answering the question. DVT, so the thrombosis is not just because you didn't get enough protein directly. Does that make
Okay, great.
sense?
Yes. No,
Now,
thank you for that.
blood sugar issues directly related to the protein intake and lack thereof. And then any kind of blockage in our veins or arteries are due in part to we're eating foods that are clogging it and we're not eating enough foods that are taking that clog out. So that is a nutrition thing with us.
Mm,
And then the whole lifestyle that we're living in terms of stress,
yeah.
that plays a role in there.
Yeah.
And then if you're on an airplane and you don't have compression socks, that too is or long you're on the airplane or sitting anywhere for a long period of time without compression socks or without
Mm,
makeup can lead to that. So I hope that helped. Not
yeah.
necessarily directly related to the protein.
Yeah, yeah. And then one other there's a question about the name brand of the supplements, but I'm going to hold that. We're actually going to talk about that
Got it.
in a second. And then this is again probably it might not be a question in your wheelhouse. Somebody also asked, is it okay to take supplements when on Eliqui? Eliqui?
Eliquis. So Eliquis is that the blood thinner?
It sounds like, because
Yes.
it's from the same person, so it's probably related to that.
Yeah, so Eliquis is helping with going back to the DVT or relaxing your blood so it can flow through. Certain supplements act as blood thinners. And this is a really good question. So omegas act as a blood thinner. And then also D3 with K2. If you're taking a blood thinner, it can interact. For those who are taking blood thinners, I do not recommend D3 with K2. I recommend vitamin D without the K, only because it can conflict with the blood thinners. That's a really good question. And that one I do know.
Okay, listen, you're talking to the right one.
That
I
one
love
I do know.
it.
This is the thing. Over all these years, every time I get a question that I don't know, then I will know it, right? And so now the DVT, I was like, what is DVT? I'm on a live video and I gotta be like,
That's why I looked it up, because I'm like, I didn't know
I'm
what
like,
it was. But
what? I don't want to act like I don't know, because it might be something like, some food that I'm supposed to know about. I'm like, oh Lord, I don't. But
yeah,
okay.
I love that. And I think Carrie may have had a couple questions as well.
Robin, the amount of notes that I have is out of control. And I want to thank you for delivering everything to us so patiently.
Yes.
You have a way of speaking to us because, you're absolutely right. Our second brain is our gut. And when I'm working with really highly ambitious women and leaders, and they're showing up the sessions and they're like, okay, I'm just going to try to finish this lunch, or they haven't, it makes the mind body connection of, well, you will not be able to show up very well in this space if you haven't taken care of yourself. So thank you for that. I actually wanted to ask you a question about that for the listeners, the people who are watching who are really busy professionals, right?
Yes.
So maybe they're traveling a lot. And we know how those airports are. We know how it is when we're in a hotel.
Yes.
How would you advise us making decisions around choosing the right foods? How do we eat healthy when we can't cook at home? What are we looking for? Because 100 grams of protein, I mean, I feel like we'd be reading the labels at Chick-fil-A or something.
Let me help you out. Traveling, busy. And I am that person too, even though I look like I'm calm. I am calm, but I am also on the go and moving around a lot. On the go, here are some tips.
Okay.
And I'm giving general tips because I'm going to say boiled eggs, and some of y'all are like, I hate boiled eggs. But generally speaking, so on the go, you can boil some eggs and keep them. You can, if you can do nitrate-free deli meat, if that's your thing, you can do that. Also, I use protein shakes a lot to get, when I don't have time, I'll put it in my shaker bottle and shake it up and go. I'll always have some nuts with me. Okay. I rely heavily though on protein shakes to help to get through. And then when you're out at conferences and restaurants and all of those things, there's two things. If it's situational, you're not always on the road, then you might say, okay, I'm going to go with the flow here, because sometimes it's what you want to eat is not available. And then I will go back home and literally do a fast or a reset of my body. That is a tool that I use when I'm on vacation. I want to live la vida loca. Then I go home and do a reset. But if you can choose as much as you can, the vegetables and the protein, when you're out and someone else is controlling your food, trust and believe they're going to give you carbohydrates. Right. Because it's cheaper. Right. For them. And so there's where you're just going to have for me, I have a protein shake literally before I go down to whatever meal, because now I have my protein and now I'm going to know they're going to give me some extra stuff. That's good. And I'll eat the protein and I will cut those carbs in half. I will not eat their bread. If they've given me potatoes, then I'm just having the potatoes. I'm going to look at the bread. I'm going to want that bread, but I'm going to push it to the side.
Robin, you got me on the popcorn, because everybody know in this house, I eat so much popcorn. I got to pop it on the stove. So when you said match it with a protein
shake, just drink the protein shake with your popcorn. Like you were going to drink water. That's my recommendation. That's what I do.
Because I do eat a lot of protein shakes. So
I like a lot of protein shakes because it's like my drink. So then I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm still having, in your case, popcorn, but you're drinking your water and you put your protein in it, and then you're balancing it out.
And then add our flaxseed powder. That's what I wrote down, right?
Flaxseed. Yeah, if you can add flaxseed. So I've never put my flaxseed in my protein shake as a
Okay.
shake up. I've done it
Okay.
in smoothies where I can blend it.
Yeah.
Another thing I didn't mention with in terms of protein is I put collagen.
Mhm.
Jovan and I were talking. She tried it. She put it in her water, and you said it. Would you say it worked or it didn't work?
Yeah,
The collagen,
I didn't taste it. It's
it didn't,
tasteless,
but it
but it just
changed the
didn't, yeah, it
consistency.
just didn't absorb as much, but
You
I
did.
still, yeah.
You did it. So I
Yeah.
will add collagen powder into wherever I can because it's also a protein source.
That's
You're such a
good.
wealth of information, sources, everything we got to share. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So y'all
Yeah.
know you got to go follow Robin. This is amazing.
I just
So
have one quick
okay.
question that I wanted you to clarify because I feel like we kind of rolled over it. The significance of the K2.
K2, yeah.
Right.
So K2, let me see if I can break this down. So we have calcium in our bodies, running through our bodies, not calcium supplementation, but calcium that we get from food.
Mhm.
And if that calcium is not told where to go,
Mm.
it can end up where you don't want it to go. So in your arteries,
Yes.
away from your bones. So with K2 and D3 together, they work synergistically to take the calcium and put it into your bones and move it away from your heart. So it's a director. But if you are on a blood thinner, it's not that you don't need the K2, it's just that that nutrient conflicts with the pharmaceutical. Foods that are rich in K2 include some of our animal proteins, egg yolks, but we're usually not getting the balance properly. So, generally, for most women, I say D3 with K2, but if you cannot because of the confliction with the pharmaceutical, then you just take the D by itself.
Robin is gifting everybody with that free resource she mentioned, which is that Chat GPT prompt, which you can download at the link on the screen or the QR code. Scan that QR code. Robin, if you want to tell us a little more about what that includes again, I think they love to know.
When you get it, it's literally a freebie. You just be able to copy it, and there's some blank spaces so that you can fill in. It'll say your weight, your goals. But what I don't want you to change is the amount of protein that I've put in there and just update it accordingly, put it into one of the AIs, and it'll spit out a meal guide for you based on your goals, giving you enough protein every day. And that's been such a useful resource for folks as of late. And I hope that it supports you. The supplement line is Necessary Nutrition. And we feature vitamin D, all of the vitamin Ds, D3, K2. We have a vegan vitamin D. We have one without the K. We also have magnesium glycinate as capsules or a liquid, as well as collagen and plant-based protein powder. We cater to women over 40, and we're super excited to put Necessary Nutrition in your hands and in your household. Every time with every single order, we send you a little gift in there and also what we call a necessary blessing or a necessary word. And in that, there is a saying that will come in your box, and it depends, it changes, but it might just say, you can do hard things, queen. And the last thing that comes in everyone's order is a QR code to a playlist called The Sounds of Necessary Nutrition. And it was created by our membership community. And the idea here is that it's music that's designed to make you smile and dance and inspire you and lift your mood. So when you get it, just pop it in and listen.
Yeah.
And
I'm very impressed with the packaging and all that
hey,
came in there, the value that we got. Let's throw up Robin's contact of how our community can contact her and follow her work. Please share that with everybody too, Robin. We want to make
Yep.
sure that.
And without further ado, here is Robin's contact information.
Awesome. We thank you so much, Robin. I mean, what you have brought to this space today is exactly what this summit was built for.